Mm. Não, 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 Aku semua dalam bahasa semua ada tuan. Agak tu orang yang itu boleh kalau lagi nak baru ada cina. Ya, nah, itu langsung oh iya, langsung ke bangun semula. Alt pembe devam şavarda. Bütün böyle sosyal böyle bunu yapayım böyle. Jadi Hello, good morning. Oh, good afternoon, rather. Good afternoon now.
Good afternoon, Mr. Simon. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, how are you, sir?
Can you just give like 5 minutes so that others can
Yes,
connect?
yes, yes, very well, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, please do let me know when we can start.
Yes, we are. I think we are waiting for our MD to join.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I thought she was even in. Okay, I thought Madam was there. So just let's see.
All right, I think she just joined the meeting. So we can start.
Sir. So we can start, Abi.
Yes, we can. We can start now.
Mr. Amos.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Madam, you are in now. Thanks.
Yeah, the morning, sir. You can start now, sir. Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry for the
Okay,
okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So thank you so very much for this patience and what have you. But then so far since morning, we've been fine. So I think we have a good day here. Okay, sorry. Let me just. I think that last week I was supposed to start with this background presentation before the application. Let me just quickly have a rundown with this. If you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, sorry, thanks. Okay, please, let me just proceed with this. Okay, so first is that background-wise, before we have an application, there are almost like a back-end development policy that we have that has to be addressed, especially given the business process. And this area of the discussion will be based on the compliance management of the application. We'll also look at the requirements for the loans and lease business process, as well as asset management and portfolio management, as it were. We're also going to look at the requirements on the CRM and, of course, financial reporting concepts, because these are almost like things we don't see on the physical, but then they are on the foundation for which the application rests on. So first, let's look at the compliance areas, and is to say that we're going to have the application actually has a regulatory database, management environment where things that are regulatory in the course of a business process, that is where they are confined to and managed from. Of course, we also look at the policy management area, which policy can now be, whether it's external or internal, but then some of, like for instance, certain policy about maybe you want to adapt dual control issues and all of that. These are intercepts that the application as a foundation already has provisions for. Then additional things like the risk assessment and management, as well as audit management. Internally, based on the principles of what you do to audit your operation, these are things that within the application that are also provided for. Of course, the idea of training and awareness. The idea of training and awareness would be that ongoing, we're going to give you like a site environment where people can go to do demo practices, which is not outside, which is actually outside your internal operation for purpose of education, and things like that. So we have a certification process that helps in that learning curve on the application from module to module, provided we have a recommendation as to who is to be trained, who needs the education and needs the place like a sandbox where you can go there and do things that you normally may not be able to do in a live scenario. So all that is actually things we also do. Of course, incident management and monitoring and reporting, also basic to concepts of compliance management. Then, of course, in document management, there might be some areas of biometric captures of perhaps customer data and what have you. Some basic part of these are already implementable from the application and all that. But then some of other futuristic things we have to look at are perhaps things like workflow automation, integration with other systems where that comes up, and of course whistleblower protection, assuming certain things are to be enabled to allow for this, because we are just telling you these are the provisions, and for the development of the future, all this has to just be in place. So it's just to let you say that, oh, if any of this is to happen, the application readiness is there and the tools are acceptable, that this can be augmented to the entire process too. And this can also move into data security and privacy concepts, customizing compliance frameworks, third-party risk management, and continuous improvement. And this is the almost like the soul of encouraging that the systems compliance, whatever, is taken care of. Then also looking at the area of loans and lease business process. We'll look at the credit risk. We also can possibly manage the market risk, operational risk, because in the course of our configurations, the application is there to allow you to define your products in lines with what will enable you, or the ways of activities that will permit you to actually work based on the vision of the management. And this is where this is very important. Then liquidity risk, legal and compliance risk, and collateral risk are some other essentials. We have other all forms of different types of risk, even in terms of technology risk. So in terms of additional areas of business continuity rules and all of that, there are things that we actually consider in the course of the business of asset management, as the case may be. Then, of course, the portfolio management in itself, a place where you have a summary of your portfolio tracking and management from one portfolio to another, and of course, different metrics of trying to determine how some of these ratios are performing and things like that are the basics of the module. Transaction management, trade executions. Once trades are executed, which in somehow, either you trade yourself directly or you trade with third parties, these are possibilities that the system will be able to manage. Then, of course, within the portfolio management area, there are risk management tools, risk to protect your assets and things like that, reporting and analytics based on what you require for the business for optimizing the future bottom line of the asset management business in itself is key. Then, of course, asset allocation and rebalancing, where you are trying to optimize your portfolios and in the course of what you are putting together, whether it's a different type of assets as the case may be. Research and insights, of course, integration and connectivity with any other forms of extendable areas that you think your business can grow into, and perhaps to enjoy benefits of direct real-time data from external sources. These are possibilities. And of course, the benchmark, of course, the security and compliance still key in this area. And user experience and customization is actually very paramount, because with the way we work is that you have technical support process is just that for anything a client may need, you are free to come up with a process, send it to us, we accept it, we look for our best understanding, and we make our offering towards it. And once it's done, we actually do an additional update, which we will also need to confirm that there's a user acceptance test, and not just that we're just giving you what it is. It has to meet what you have asked us to do. So that technical support process has always been there, and that remains the pattern of engaging our clients over time, because there will always be one thing or the other that a client may want us to do or want us to act or offer as a way of new areas and things like that, or even existing modifications or solutions. And of course, later we're talking about client communication tools that you may be able to use to reach out to clients that you manage. Of course, here we'll be talking about customer relations. Obviously, there's need for you to keep a comprehensive client profile. Profiles as are categorized by way of the different class of business and so on and so forth. And one thing is that because you now be resting on a lot of data, with data, so much can happen on data. You can actually work on data to achieve several things that make the customer relations almost like something on the tip of your finger, that you can just tap on something to get something, to get the information about that you may want on any account, any portfolio, and either for one decision or the other. And that is where the essence of why the content of the CRM, and as it were, goes a long way to see how this can actually give you what makes it easier and quicker for you to be able to offer a very competitive, kind of service to your clients, in the course of this business. Then analytics reporting, client segmentation, integration with other systems also we talk about here, depending on what external systems we want to conform with. Then of course the mobile access availability is also some of the areas that you can actually extend these services, because not too many customers are actually that, how do I say, they are much in transit. Everybody is just on mobile, for instance, and some of what they may want to do could even be that they would have loved that their best started from their mobile app and things like that. So these are provisions that gives that succor that you can be a lot more competitive with one client or another. And more is about a customer being sure that, oh, if he has any relationship with you, is more secure, and of course you are also on your own side complying with the ethics of protection with regards to the data protection organizations and so on and so forth. Customization, scalability, feedback surveys, training and support are things that we also still stress in this area. Then more so in the area of financial reporting and analysis, you see quite a whole lot of other reports currently may be available on the solution, but like we said, we can always still recustomize reports to suit what is desirable, as it were. For the finance, for the general ledger, the financial statements would have covered quite a lot in that area. And of course, it will always stem from the beginning of the business. We need to look at the chart of account. How best is the best chart of account conforming with the asset management business and things like that, and the entire thing. Of course, data integration may just be where maybe you may have some other sources of data to integrate with your MIS. And if that is the case, we are saying that these are capabilities that is possible on the solution. And of course, with a lot of data, as we speak earlier, analytics and further insights, things that are great to have. And that a lot more, even including budgeting and forecasting and other form of capabilities or decisions and compliance audit trails, which meant to measure the security around the entire system. And of course, some other collaboration tools just to improve your work, and security and access control, visualization tools. And even here, we still talk about mobile access, where some of this could even be what could help in perhaps some other forms of business owners who are there to see what they are supposed to see, either on the account or as an organization, and so on and so forth. And I think these are just the areas I wanted to perhaps just stress, because these are part of what we really don't see or don't speak about, but these are the foundation, okay, of the application in itself that we may go to see. And it can go on and go on, as it were, in that order. So more to this is that we may want to actually look at the application, because this is just like the foundational to the application, as it were. Last time I tried logging out somewhere, so that's actually the area I want to go again now, so that I can share directly from the application, running from the application for the project. So permit me to say that here, okay, we were here the last time, and I said you will be able to profile every activity, every staff, based on what the staff is supposed to do. And if this is done, as the staffs are here, whether or a client is here to access you, a client will always access you, and that takes him to his own portfolio. And you can only see things about his account and nothing more. But a staff will be able to go into the application, and you'll be able to go to areas of operation. And once he logs into the application, you will be able to see the activities that makes him to operate. 1 minute, please. Right. Okay, right. So, okay, so we have each staff or admin person who logs in here will almost be able to see almost every module. But then when you are here, you are only able to see the things or sets of procedures or tasks or roles that are applicable to how you were defined. You know, you can be here and you may not have access to some places. That depends on how management has actually set you up. It's not about one person getting in and you'll be able to be a superstar. So that last time I started with administration, where I actually said that every task, let me just quickly do that. Every task on the application is set up in such a manner that you are able to define who does what. So you can actually set up a place where you can actually define who does what. And these roles you can now give to the operators. Now, the issue is that the most important in the application is the role definition. Like, for instance, you need to set up who a financial control person is, who does accounting operation, an administrator is, who have access to the admin part of the application. Then you want to know perhaps maybe a compliance person. Of course, the roles of compliance may just be to report, and they can go into the financial control to do some reporting, but they may not have the privilege to be able to post. So it makes it a lot easier that you can actually wake up tomorrow and say, oh, this is the kind of role we want to create. And you are free to create. You are not limited by any act or operation based on how you operate as a management, and so on and so forth. Heads of units, operations, you know, and so on. You can actually wake up and create any form of this thing. But then if I just pick on one, for instance, say compliance. So like in this case, you can say that this compliance person have access to, you can make a choice. He may have access to leasing, but when he gets into leasing, he may not be able to do any other thing like posting, capturing deals and all the likes, but then it may just be that this compliance person is only able to view reports and so on. So that's the kind of flexibility that we're talking about. And so it is that I can give this compliance role what is essential for what the officer should be able to do when he logs out, when he has access to the system. Even in the accounts module, for instance, look, if you see further down here, you can still drill down task group. If you click, the system will go into that place and further show more activities that is possible. It goes to say that when I saw general ledger, it means that there are more things under that place. And under the general ledger, you also have a kind of subgrouping again, something called client financials, something called GL operations, something called GL admin. This in itself is like a compound name with a lot of activities still underneath them. So it's not as if this is just a one task that you click and you can work. Take, for instance, if I say client financials, if I click on the last button here, task, I'm still able to drill down to further activities. So that's the way the software has been made. So it depends on how and what level of task that you have already built. And all those activities are reachable and you can conform. You can actually use them to define the roles of the staff. And that makes it a lot safe that one staff, oh, is doing something and there's perhaps no point you suspecting that he's doing something wrong. Because before he was set up, it must have been approved by management that this is the set of rules that this staff is supposed to be doing on the application. So there's really no risk of to be entertained from staff at that point. And for every other module, just permit me to want to go straight down to the area of loans and advances and some other areas there so that we can, for time. Then under the credits, I mean, just like the credits, just like the funds placement, I will use this area to now define the ability for you to kind of configure the application to be suitable, because the way things work, the accounting for so many things are automatic, but it can never be automatic until we have configured our processes, our activities to be in sync with, and also to align with the financial, the chart of account of the company. So at that point, we are saying that, take for instance, under the credit admin here, under the credit, that's the loans advancement module here, there are a whole lot of a set of tasks here, but the most important that we need to do in a new business like this is to go to credit product classification. First is that you already have your product. The other time I was in the office, we tried defining one or two things, but then we are saying is that you can actually create a new product anytime. But what is important is that once a product is created, like something called short-term loan, what we simply do is to, try to define this product and give it a title. We give it a product name, and every loans or treasury product will have its account already defined in your company's, in your financial statements. So the chart of account would have established the proper code. So this is the starting point and the initial work that we have to do. In fact, if you say any hard work, this is where it might be tough, and there's no big deal. So what we just simply do here at the beginning is to begin to build the blocks between the operation and the company's chart of account. And it makes your future activity almost seamless because the accounting for everything is internally documented. You don't have to go separately, do a new journal, pass a journal, adjust this, adjust that, because this will in itself do itself accounting based on what anybody or what activity was done the last or is about to be done. So the way this simply works is that first is that your new project or product would have a new name. You can name it any name, but a code. Then you can now define what full name, that name code. Assuming you have something like special loans. Now I say this may be special loans product, and what the next here is that we need to pop up when we click here, you should be able to see your company's chart of accounts. So when we are creating a special loans, there would have been an account on the chart of accounts that simply can narrate or relate with this product that we have created. So we can just quickly pick that. And of course, we do same. Now we're looking at interest receivable account code. Now we're talking about loans. So there will always be something like interest receivable. There will always be something like interest income, and so on and so on. Then of course, credit income, and so on. So all those account codes is what we just pick at this point. If we're going to charge setup fees, there will obviously also be appropriate chart of account item for us to pick. Then if there is a setup fee rate at all that is just common, say particularly to this new product I'm talking about, all your products may not have the same management fee or setup fee. Whatever may be unique about them, we have the liberty to create them based on what was agreed for the various products. So this is actually where the power is. And once all this is done, we can now go ahead. Okay, take for instance, this is also to manage the people posting these transactions. Okay, take for instance, I'm creating this new product. And this says, what is the minimum disbursement for this particular case? If I say the minimum disbursement here is maybe 500,000. So you can imagine when somebody is trying to take or trying to give a loan of this class, and he's saying that the opening figure or the approved figure is less than 500. So because of the corporate governance, this rule will obviously not permit you to even take in such an entry into this product, because in the first place, it's a violation of the product definition. So this is just the keys. And of course, when we say there is minimum, we could also state the maximum for that particular product. Then sometimes the interest we also allow. What is the minimum interest that we allow? What is the maximum interest that we allow in terms of the upper limit of that such an interest? So when you have an operator, he hardly would be able to make any mistake, because you should not allocate an interest band that is not allowable on a particular product. But then this will only work if our product definition was in sync with management's definitions, and of course is to be obeyed when we are running this going forward, and so on and so forth. So even in tenor ranges, we want to know what is best tenor that we can give to that class of loan. We want to know what is the tenor over the upper range, and so on and so forth. And of course, if you're going to have something like rollovers, I mean, is there any charge for rollover? And so on and so forth. So if there is, you can just apply such a rate for this particular class. And don't forget, you can do as many product classification as much as possible. So at the point of issuing the loan, at that point, the person posting needs to ensure that the right loan product is allocated to the monies, that is being disbursed, and so on and so forth. The other things are just normal about product account opening and all of that. And under the credit financials is where we can now see where the loan actually can now be properly disbursed. And initially, there is something we call the credit booking. Credit booking stage could be the point when, you're trying to advance a loan, but then there should be like an internal discussion where I have come to apply for maybe 5 million, and for whatever reason, yes, the 5 million has been approved, but an initial tranche of about, maybe it was to be paid in 3 tranches, and maybe an initial value of 1.5 was to be raised. And the accounts department has to note this, because the credit booking is what is going to establish that. When we are booking the credit booking, we are going to state the 5 million full amount, and that product will be available. And on that credit booking, which is going to create a credit deal, you will be able to pay on that 5 million for the 3 times to exhaust the 5 million loan that you are granting. And each of these always will have a documentation backing that up. And of course, the accounting process will start from the point when the man is has actually confirmed that he has received the money, and so on. So we have something we call the fresh disbursement, where, for instance, in the 5 million, the fresh disbursement will be like the very first part disbursement that was issued. And subsequent to that will be what we call additional disbursement. Additional will mean that there was an existing deal, and I'm just topping the principal on the existing. So, and that is how that will go. I can top that principal a number of times until you fully pay up the 5 million that was granted on that particular business for that particular client, and so on and so forth. And subsequently, the accounts department can, of course, continue with doing things like credit repayments. You can always do things like credit repayment where, I am calling up a particular loan, and take, for instance, I'm calling a particular loan. Let me just say loan, anything close to that, if any. I just say something like this, and if I say refresh, if he has the deals that I need to repay and things like that. Okay, just one. It says this tenor is maybe 60 and the principal is this. I can now indicate the person receiving the money now in the finance need to be able to establish this repayment that this person is making. Is he repaying a part of the principal only, or is it repaying a part of the principal and a part of the interest? So that at the end of the day, the total check he raised or the total transfer he made need to be able to reflect what proportion of all this he has paid, because the next interest accrual will be on what is outstanding on the principal. So this is just the concept, so that once that is obeyed, mode of payment, whether it's cash or cash, and the transaction date, now here, because money is coming in, you can now indicate which of your banks. Say, if I say bank, all my banks can be seen from the chart of account, and I can pick any of the banks that I'm lodging this transfer. And this now becomes the business of such a loan, because we are actually receiving somebody who is now repayment. So the concept just continues that way very safely and easily. And of course, the customer can also, at the point of maybe withdrawing part of, if he has any outstanding or something, you can post a credit note, you can post a debit note, but please remember that there will always be a deal number. Take, for instance, here, when I pick a loan, there will always be a deal number. Okay, fine. It means that in this case, there are several deals of this person. This is a typical case, for instance, so that whoever is handling this need to know that the repayment being made is on a particular deal number 1224, and deal 1224 in the system is not the same as deal 1343. If you remember, deal 1224 is speaking to the principal of about 50, or that's about 500,000 or thereabout. But whereas the another principal, this person has diverse credit records. So what we need to do, what we should do here, we need to respect the actual deals of the business, so that we don't just lump things and create a confusion. And don't forget that the last interest principal repayment should drop the interest, and as such, the interest accrual will be impacted next minute. So this is some of the concerns when this is being handled. And that's why we say that sometimes you may decide to ensure that a whole month's interest is fully updated. And once we are sure by the end of the month, you can now just do what we call monthly interest accrual. And the system will go from day one of the month, and we'll be able to look at all the transactions in every portfolio, whether it was treasury, whether it was loans, and you'll be able to determine all the interest and have them documented, because at this point, we are sure that all that was supposed to be captured have been captured, and perhaps all that were outstanding have also been set up. Then one other thing is that some loans may have been matured, and for some reason they've been terminated, and there may be need for someone to do interest stoppages on them. If it was not done, interest will be calculated, but otherwise, if it was to be stopped, then we must stop such accounts for interest accrual, so that the next time you are doing your auto run, the interest determinations will not impact or fail, or rather be computed on those accounts again. So same way. So what we've just seen there in the area of credits is also the same way we define the treasury products. Treasury products being the liabilities now, where we are the one taking placements. And we are the one taking placements, and these treasury products are also in such a way that we need to also configure them. Same way, they also have an area of admin, where we need to also configure the treasury products to be in sync with what we have with our chart of accounts. So whatever happened, in fact, that's the most, it was because this is possible, is why the ease of the operations from the various other units are now possible, and the accounting also understandable. So that is the area, because all these ones in terms of your interest payable accounts, your interest expense accounts, your rollover, if any, and all of the rollover concepts, and of course, and the necessary business terms. If there are more, we need to expand it to cover what business rules that you may have additionally, as it were. I think the other part of it might just be in the portfolio management area, where in this area, some of the key concepts will be the way you get your trades. If you trade automatically, then portfolios will be automatically updated. Otherwise, then there are processes, numerous options where trades can be captured in different formats. Trades can be captured in different formats. And once these are captured, portfolio accounts that you maintain will obviously be updated. And we have also an account maintenance area there where you do all things like updating for biometrics, which is part of the documentation we're talking about the other time. And what that simply does is that under the account biometrics, you will be able to like call up somebody's portfolio, and you at this point can update his photo, you can update his signature, can update his identity card, and that is if it's like an individual. And where you have like a joint account, you may have even the photo now becoming to the joint photo, photograph can also be captured, the joint signature can also be captured, and of course the joint identity card can also be captured, but they have a common utility bill. And if it's corporate, then of course the form, the certificate of incorporation can also be captured onto the account. And of course, if internally you have like your forms filled, a part of the forms that you fill internally can also be captured, as part of the image that you have. And one of the things is that as soon as these are done, you can actually call up somebody and we can view what the person has in his account, even from any part of the option. You can view his photo. If the photo was there, you can view other things. You can view the utility bill and a whole lot of other things depending on what it is, provided these images have been captured. And then the concern here is that when you are doing these biometrics, it must be such that people who should have spent some time to do this are people who have some time to deal to handle imaging, because imaging can be very difficult. If you have people who just feel they just want to rush biometrics, then it can be such that you have wrong people being captured against wrong accounts and so on and so forth. So it's not just about the speed, it is usually more about the accuracy. And of course, people who should be given the rights to do this must have been properly told what the implications of imaging could be, because this, even in banks, has caused a situation whereby wrong people have appeared before a counter for a transaction, but whereas it may not have been the error of the account owner, it may have been managed internally and wrongly, and so on. So this, I think, some of the general basics I need to be able to share, and I want to see how I can just also give some time so that we can take some questions in the course of my talk today. Maybe at this point, let me just try and just take a break and I take some questions, please. Sorry, hello?
With you, sir. Well, we too.
Yes. Whether we have some questions so that I can now follow that directly.
Huh? The sausage inside the freezer. No, I check. The sausage is inside the freezer. Sorry, sir. Yes, I was following. Then from me, I don't know about my team. I think we need to, what exactly we would have loved to see is how this will work on the operation side, because that's the major side we are starting with.
Yes.
And we are expecting a demo that will show us what are the reports that this operational module can generate. How easy will it be for us to use? How easy will it be for us to navigate, within the modules? And how easy will it be for our products, to be able to work with the module? I think that's the basic things I think we are expecting. I don't know, Seun?
Yes, ma. In addition to what you've said, ma, I think we need to see how the software, the seamlessness of the software, the interfaces, how they connect, how the onboarding of our clients will look like from our end. So I think that's what we would like to see how to process our transaction using the software.
Software,
and
yes.
getting reports from using the software.
Right.
Do you understand, sir? So those are what we would like
Okay.
to see.
Right.
The basics, the basics, yes.
We are the users of the software so that we can know how
Yes.
to access
Excellent.
and know how the software works.
Alpha,
Excellent.
please, can you lend your voice to this? Tejuri, please. Please, let's, Alpha, can we
Okay,
hear from you, please?
yes, thank you so much, Ms. Amos. This is robust enough, but just like the way we discussed with you,
That's right.
let me use this word, it's a startup company.
Yeah.
And basically what we tend to do is what our MD just mentioned.
That's right.
One, I should look at a way to onboard their clients.
That's right.
And then we should look at our credit part, our lease aspects, and of course some little compliance report that need to be filed. So these are just the basic things we need, because what you're giving us
Yes.
is the whole solution.
Yes.
So how do we narrow it down to what we want to do?
Excellent. So thank you. I think why I needed to just have that halt was because of that observation too. But then I think about now, let me just look at let's look at the process and the operation itself from the modules. Let me just, I want to hint more on the area of the perhaps on the area of credits, if you understand what I mean. So let me just see, because the same pattern when you do your onboarding at any of the modules is the same. It's very similar to what you do across board. So I'll get back to the application now. Hello, are you with me?
Yes, well,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Okay. Right. So I'll get back to the application, and let me just get back on the loans module again, so that I can now go down. What I just did earlier on is just to look at the application, how it sits, and what really some of these things mean at the back. But then in terms of what the interface and the operations, the reports, let me just take some time here to share what this could be. Okay, first is I explained that first is that just looking at some of the very early processes that you need to do from the point of view of where we are currently in a NEM asset. Now, first is that I expect that there would obviously, like we spoke the last time, there will obviously be some data, and there will obviously be some data, and where are these data being captured from? So we see there's a place here where we have account opening. Now, under account opening is the starting up of the data from the clients at all to forming a kind of business profile. Are you with me? So we to add an account, we just say add, and we can decide on, we can actually indicate the class of the account, the title, and so on, means of identification, right? I think for me to just do something here, let's see. Say individual, Mr. So Joseph Adamu, for instance, and email, just click that. And just put an email from sort, then a telephone number, the gender, means of identification, ID number, identity, date of birth, and so on. Now, this information, for instance, from what we discussed under provisions, perhaps from notifications and all of that, this data is actually what informs a notification to confirm whether somebody's birthday is today and fires a greeting, or someone's means of identification is expiring and also gets a notification and things like that. These are things that informs all that. It starts from the point of onboarding. Okay, then, okay, I have say that the dates, I just do that. Then I add an address. And so on. Okay, city. Okay, country, maybe have a list of all the countries. Let me say Nigeria. In fact, let me just pick anything. Just pick anything. And whatever the country is, okay, would always be one of whatever is local to that country. And any additional information. Okay, at this point, what file number at this point, if I have a client number where you have had a number filed in somewhere, what's its file number? I can just indicate it, and I can pick that defaults to the branch of the clients, depending on where the businesses were accrued. But then you'll be seeing that happen from the head office or something, and we might just do this and so on. And so once we are done at that point, we can just submit. Now, when you say submit, right, and it says success. Now, based on, like we discussed about certain dual control stuff when I started, you may have a rule that says no staff can open an account without a second authorization. So I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So that is, if you have such policy, then it's just to activate the policy, and this account opening will need a second person before it can be deemed opened. Okay, so at this point, success here means that rule is not available, but where available, there's a place for dual control that the admin or which other officers have the right, because if you create the account, you yourself cannot authorize. Once that policy exists, there must be somebody else, say the compliance person or another officer, who can now confirm that and have it validated. That is, at that point, you can actually check that any new onboarded account can be under check. Now, next is that this Joseph, for instance, is coming for this person is coming for a business transaction, and I can say, let me see, under credits financials. Under credit financials, I say credit booking. Now, I may say that, like in the example I used in my last talk, I might be wanting to have that Joseph. I might be having to have, was it Joseph? What? Yeah, I think it was Joseph Adamu, remember? Okay, Joseph Adamu. And I said, application dates, say today. This person is saying, this person is applying for a loan, and the class of loan is short-term loan. You could have been any of your products. This is it is actually at this point that the various products of the business that you have created, you can now, of course, anybody posting this should have access to that place, because all such products will be here. So this is where you now pick those products. So, and how much was approved for this person? Let's say 7. Yes, we approved 7.5 million. And at what interest? Say 8.5 interest type. Let me say flat per month. And for how long? Say 180 days. And at this point, what was the purpose for which this approval was done would be business loan or whatever the description would be. So what we are doing currently is we are trying to onboard his first business. This has not created any deal yet because he has not collected this money. It's just an approval so that I can now say submit, and the credit booking currently is being booked successfully. Now, I haven't done this, and if this man was supposed to be paid upfront, I mean, he was supposed to be paid the 7.5 or partially or what have you. Let me just do a partial, assuming we are giving him 2.5 first, another one, and perhaps others. So we can now see how we do the initial disbursements. If you follow me, please, let me just know if otherwise. So we do a fresh disbursement at the point we are releasing the first tranche. It is at this point of fresh disbursement that a unique deal number will be allocated to this business. Now, so at this point, we locate Joseph's account, and upon locating Joseph's account, we need to search if he has a credit booking. And if you remember, he has. If he does not have, then you cannot even go ahead to pay him yet. Now, and it has identified his 8.5 million. And for doing this, at this point, we can now indicate, because it has already dropped the information about the credit booking, that this is the amount available, that this was the amount approved. So what I want to do is that I want to confirm that now, as of this moment, we are releasing the first 2.5 million to him today. Don't forget, maybe in another 2 days, another 1 week, we could complete the tranche perhaps within a week or two for something that was for 180 days. But then I'm just using this as an example. So we use the fresh disbursements, and at this point, the system will want to know which of my banks am I releasing the check from. Let me just say, let's say Standard Chartered. Let's say Standard Chartered. And once that is done, we can just make a little disbursement being initial disbursement, with respect to that. And it is at this point that there is a financial transaction against Joseph's account. Up till this moment, his onboarding has not created any business yet. In fact, the credit booking actually has not created any business yet. That was just a nominal record. Now, the nominal record is what we have now used, to effect the disbursements, which we have started with the 2.5 tranche of now. So what is then the implication of what we have just done now? What you have just done now is to say that you have disbursed that initial loan of 2.5 to the account of that person. So two things will happen. If I go to the account of Joseph, which is now, you now go to under the report. Anything reporting, you find a group of reports for every module under reports. Under credit report, for instance, all reports that are there, you can print, you can actually generate for the purpose of what we are looking for. But as of this moment, I want to see, there's something we call the monthly interest report. There's something we call the statement of account. This is per deal. Statement of account, all deals. Outstanding principal and interest detail. Outstanding principal and interest summary. Account interest control report, and so on, and several like that. If there are additional reports, well, we said there are additional reports, that is why we said any other additional reports are things we just look at, and they are added here depending on what your internal traditional reports may be. Now, I may just want to look at statements of accounts, say for Joseph, for instance, because at this time, that fund that we have just dropped in his account will create at least a line of transaction. So, and once I pick the account, I can refresh the deal, and the system will be able to tell me all the loans business that Joseph ever has with our company, and we can only find all that is available. One is this deal 2085. How the deal numbers are generated is not your powers, is not your creation. The system knows the last deal that was created, and it is global. The next deal posted by any officer across the organization will obviously get allocated the next deal number for the business. So the deal 2085 is what we are talking about here, and we can generate a statement for what's his name, for Joseph. And that is, okay, here, let me see. Oops, sorry, I have a reporting issue here, please. I think because I'm sorry, I'm running from my raw code here, so the crystal reports may not be working. Let me see. Okay, I'm actually working from, I just set up this application here so that I'll be able to use it to work, and I'm working from the raw code. So I have a feeling my reporter may not be on or active. If you can see this, let me just reshare this screen. Sorry, what I just said now was that I'm actually running from the raw code and not from from an implementation where maybe the reporter would have been there. And that's why what I think that report may not come up. But then let me confirm what is still possible. So what that statement was supposed to give me was actually actually the report of a statement of account where listing, listing, showing the, showing the debits to the account at the 2.5. Wow, I still have to just see how I connect, but that will take me some additional time. That will take me some additional time to achieve. Sorry. Okay. It looks I need to, sorry, I might just have to drive these statements. Let me just do more into this account so I perhaps can just drive the statements and share with you maybe after the session, please. Now, because I think from the code I may not be able to get those reports as it were, but then I'll try and configure and try to get the reports out based on, let me just do all the transactions as it is today. So like we said, in the account, for instance, there we can actually also go back there and do some further transaction, assuming the man is bringing, assuming the man is making a repayment. Like all these things are all transactional menus away, depending on the next transaction that you want to capture. So, but then we're just doing this for sake of you having the screen. And let's see, credit repayments, for instance. If I say credit repayments, the logic between this is that Joseph rather, has just maybe made a repayment, for instance, Adamu. And if I refresh, it will bring his existing deal. This is the active deal. And assuming we are posting his repayments, take note, the system is recognizing the 2.5 million, not 7.5, because it does not have 7.5 value yet. So assuming he's repaying this and maybe just a few thousands as interest, I can confirm this, and the total amount he's paying is just the 5.2, for the 520,000. And I said it's by transfer or by check, depending on how it is. say also doing that today, because I can't post dates, I can say that now our bank, for monies received from these people, from all debtors, we put it in, maybe in our enterprise bank, for instance. And I say submit. Joseph's account would have dropped principal by value of the 500. And of course, accrued interest, if any, would have also been dropped by the amount of interest that was paid. Like I just did a 2,000 against interest, for instance. And so the interest will perhaps be a lot more busier now. And we can even do, when by the time we are doing accrued interest, it would have also dropped the interest for the period and all that. So, but then, like I said, the report is just the challenge that I couldn't get it to, I won't get the reports to maturing credits. All these reports are things you will get, but then it's, okay, you have maturity. Maturing credits are perhaps a schedule of all the loans with the dates of maturity. So at least something maybe due within this weekend or within this week, next week, and so on is report of such. Then if you have other reports, like I said, I mean, you may have, okay, we have debtors, periodic balances, credit opening balances, and so on and so forth. I think then, of course, if you have stopped interest, you also will have reports of all portfolios, or rather all accounts that interest may have been stopped over a period of time. And that is where that is. Then you have principal and interest analysis, loan age analysis report, credit statement of account, and all that. What else? Then the other activity that is not you just doing, it doesn't require you to do any special posting, is something like this, like the, okay, under credit admin here, there's something about interest accrual. Look at this monthly interest accrual. What this just need is that, oh, when you are running interest for a month, you just need to specify the date of interest, the beginning of the month, the end of the month, and you say submit, and the system will go all over all the portfolio accounts and adjust all interest movements day by day from the beginning to the end of month. And this, of course, will have journals. This, of course, would also have journals, like even in terms of the report. What this simply means also that if I go to my accounts department, that is my general ledger, the report in the GL, also, like I said, all the reports, also all the modules have their own reports. There are reports here, for instance, like say, all the things I've done today with respect to what I've done by way of credits there or loans, I can get it out in this report called Today's GL Vouchers, for which if I click on today, and I say today's date till today's date, the accounting journals for all those things. That's why I said the Crystal report may not have been installed here, is why I'm getting those dependency access to the reports for in the server that I prepared here, please, for this presentation. Okay. I'm just trying to see. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so do we look at it this way? Shared this, shared that. Let me confirm. Okay. Okay. I think let me just do something right now. Let me just confirm something now so that I don't waste any further time. Sorry, please just permit me to say that but in terms of report, because all this will require that whatever we have done, I need to share a report. If we can just permit me to set up all the reports and share this report with you, or we have a little one more time on the process and activities that lead to reporting at any other time tomorrow.
Okay, so what time should we be looking at tomorrow, sir?
It can be 10 o'clock tomorrow since we have good internet.
Tomorrow 10.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that at this
so
time,
for
at
like
this
how
time,
long, sir?
hello, sir. No, you really wouldn't
For
be
like how long?
roughly 40, 45 minutes and based on questions too. Because it will just be about
Okay.
interaction with transactions, which of course I'll make sure is available, and I'll make sure the report area is also available for me to see the accounting implications, the reports available, and we just run through
Okay.
all the reports.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
hold it too
yes,
much.
yes, sir.
This is the one, you know,
Okay,
I didn't want to just go there. I needed to start with the foundation. And of course, this was needful. It's a broad system. It's a very broad system. That's why it's not what I can just.
You know, we are bloody users, just like you people call us. So
that's not correct.
we are more interested in the using parts than all this foundation building.
I get you, madam.
No problem, sir. Are we okay with that?
For 10 o'clock tomorrow, so we'll have more transactions and I'll be able to.
Yes. 13, is that okay? Alpha, Treasury?
Yes,
sorry. We won't take too much of your time tomorrow, obviously. We won't take more of your time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So we appreciate your time, sir. Do you have any question before it goes?
Yes, any other one? Perhaps maybe based on what we've done so far, if there's any question. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Amos, I have one question.
Okay, sir.
On account biometrics.
Okay.
So when you have an ID card that is expired or utility bill that is stilled, so how do you get the notification? The user will get the notification or the client will get the notification because there's every need for you to update.
Okay, now yes, you see, during your role and work process, I'm sure people are of customer relations, is that not? So these people are more concerned with these details, and of course, it's accuracy. So if they can be sure that the data for everybody, especially plus the Joseph I've just created now, that the information about the dates are right, at the anniversary of those dates, they get notification. All those are internal system built. You see, the system uses this information, like for instance, every 4 a.m. in several places, people's whose birthdays are due today, the organizations have served them a greeting. As at that time by 5 a.m., even when some people are still sleeping. So it won't even be your headache, but it is application business to do that based on that information. Also, people's birthdays or people's, document expiry information, it uses that same information to fire the notifications to people concerned, not to you, talking to the clients. I don't know whether you get me, sir.
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yes, it's actually to the client that it does the notification too.
All right, sir. One more question, sir. Sir, you spoke more extensively on our credit.
Yes.
Also, out of our deposits and our investment module.
Okay.
You talk more on that aspect. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's part of what you want to do tomorrow. So
okay, let me just raise it, please. Actually, the treasury, like I just shared, the treasury to me is opposite. It's just the opposite of the loans. If you remember, I just started by saying that just like you have product definitions for credits, you will also have product definition for treasury, which is the placement. Which is the placement side of the business. That is that's the placements actually. So that even tomorrow we can even dwell more. We can dwell more on this.
All right.
Yes, because it is with that one, the actions and activities that happen there is also that conforms with how it has been integrated with the accounts. That gives room to the journals that they expect to see and for the reporting that they expect to see.
Okay, sir, no problem. We're looking forward to tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
We hope tomorrow we'll be able to give us a better balance.
No, when I have a report, at least you'll be able to view the different reports.
Yes, sir. That will be fine, sir. That will be fine, sir.
All right, sir.
So we see 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, sir. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
And just thank God that this internet, I'm happy This has been fine today.
Yes, it's stable now. Better.
Thank
So
you.
you send us the link, sir.
It's the same link. The same link.
It's still the same link.
Yeah, the same
Okay.
link. Yes.
All
I'll
right.
just review
All
it.
right, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice day. All right, sir.